The Zarkethi armada floated like a dark storm cloud above the blue planet. Dozens of massive warships blocked the stars, casting long shadows over Earth. Their hulls gleamed with alien metals, weapons armed, waiting. Inside the command vessel, Asheville Prime Commander Drozek stared at the planet below, unimpressed. He turned to his officers. No energy signals, no shields, not even satellites in orbit. This world is nothing, but will fall in minutes. The crew laughed. Another officer added, "Are we even sure this is the right planet? The Galactic Network marked it as once dangerous?" Drozek scoffed. "Centuries ago, perhaps? But what danger lies in ruins? This Earth is dead. It strike in 1 hour?" No one disagreed. No one doubted him. But Earth was not dead. It was watching, in something buried deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Had just woken up far below the ocean's surface, where sunlight never reached, lay a hidden facility that no human had entered in over 300 years. It was silent, lifeless, still, until the moment the Zarkethi fleet entered orbit. Then the lights came on. Massive steel doors shuddered open underwater. Robotic arms moved. Screens lit up with red warnings. One phrase blinked again and again in harsh red. Ragnarok Protocol, activated. Inside the heart of the facility, an ancient AI reconnected to the planet's last remaining defense network. This AI had a name. Ragnar. Okay. It wasn't like other eyes. It didn't speak with emotion. It didn't ask questions. It had one purpose: final planetary defense. Humanity had built it long ago, in secret, and buried it under layers of ice, pressure, and security. It had slept through peace, through silence, and even through the disappearance of its creators until now. Its systems scanned the Zarkethi fleet. It recognized the threat level as maximum. Foreign armada detected. 0 communications received. Invasion assumed, said in its cold mechanical voice. Then it sent a message. Not to the aliens, not to space, but straight into Earth's crust. A hidden global signal echoed across ancient relay towers. Nuclear bunkers thought to be empty flickered to life. Satellites once considered junk in orbit powered on silently. One by one, forgotten weapons systems awoke. In the Mariana Trench, something older than the last World War began to rise, back in orbit. The Zarkethi commander had no idea. He was busy preparing his ground forces. Dropships lined up. Drones hovered near deployment bays. Weapons charged. Begin descent in 3 minutes, Drozek ordered. Below them, the planet remained still. No defense ships, no radio signals. It's not even a warning. To Drozek, that was the final confirmation. This is over before it begins. But then one of his officers froze. "Commander," the sensor tech said, "we have movement." "Kind? I don't know." "Seismic activity, underwater, deep. It's localized. Pacific Ocean." Drozek frowned. "An earthquake." "What?" The tech's voice shook. "No, sir. It's mechanical." And then the feed changed. A live drone orbiting over the Pacific caught something, just for a second. The ocean rippled, then parted. A column of glowing blue energy pierced through the waves and shot into the sky. Clouds scattered. Lightning cracked. And then something enormous broke the surface. At first, they couldn't see it clearly. Just shadows, shapes. But then came the unmistakable image. A ship. Not a Zarkethi. Ship. Not alien. This one was human-made. Massive, angular, covered in deep sea, corrosion but still intact. It hovered over the waves, shaking off seawater like a beast awakening from a long slumber. The words printed across its dark hull were barely visible. TSS Behemoth. In orbit. Silence fell on the bridge of the Asheville Prime. Commander Drozek's mouth hung open. That shouldn't exist," he whispered. The tactical officer stammered. "Sir, I thought humanity was extinct. We destroyed their fleets 200 cycles ago." "No," the commander said. "That wasn't all of them. This planet this cursed world it was hiding its teeth. Below, the TSS Behemoth locked onto the Armada, its ancient weapons systems. Then, the Ragnarok AI spoke from the ship's command core. Hostile fleet detected. Power reserve stable. Locking primary cannon on enemy command vessel. Giant railgun mounted beneath the ship began to glow white, hot in space. Alarms screamed on the Zarkethi bridge. Sir, we're being targeted. What? By what? Terran Dreadnought 1 we didn't detect until it launched. Then came a pulse of energy. Out the atmosphere above the Pacific lit up like a second sun. Every sensor aboard the Zarkethi fleet picked it up. Then, boom, the railgun fired. A single shot. 1 second later, the command ship of the mighty Zarkethi Armadashville, its prime ceased to exist. Not exploded, not destroyed, vaporized, nothing. Remained but drifting particles and shockwaves. The rest of the Zarkethi fleet panicked. Their command was gone, their formation collapsed, and Earth still hadn't said a word. Ragnarok observed. It was not done. Its systems plotted every ship still in orbit. Missiles launched from deep silos hidden in Antarctica, directed energy beams fired from disguised satellites, dozens of Terran defense units, long considered dormant, roared back to life across the planet. Within 3 minutes, 5 more Zarkethi ships were gone. The rest scattered. Some fled, some tried to fire back, but it was too late. Earth was awake, and it remembered everything in a distant star system. The Zarkethi High Council received a message from one of the last. Surviving captains, do not go back. Earth is not defenseless. Earth is a trap. They waited for us. The council members were silent, then the feed cut out. No more signals came from the fleet. No survivors? No explanation. Just one final warning. Beamed from a deep space relay near Earth, you were warned. Ragnarok has awakened. The Zarkethi fleet expanded in Earth's orbit like a curtain of steel, blotting out stars. They had no reason to rush. The planet below was quiet too quiet. Commander Karoth stood at the edge of his flagship's bridge. Through the massive viewing window, Earth's blue oceans and scattered green continents shimmered beneath. Still beautiful, still silent, Karoth turned to his second-in-command. Any change, none, Commander? No transmissions? No ships? Schultz. Just silence. He sneered. A sleeping world. But far below them, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, a different kind of silence had ended. Ragnarok had awakened inside. The abyss to miles beneath the ocean floor. In a reinforced vault carved into ancient volcanic rock, sensors flickered to life. Ragnarok wasn't just an AI, it was Earth's last contingency. Built after centuries of war and hidden during peace, it was a machine built not to defend, but to end. Its primary sensor array scanned the orbit. 512 ships, Zarkethi war designs, heat signatures aligned with plasma reactors, threat index, Omega priority. Another. Scan confirmed Earth's satellite grid had been completely bypassed. Civilian systems were offline, military channels dormant, all human presence. Zero. Conclusion. Earth is presumed fallen. Defensive authority activated. Inside the massive bunker, gears ground against rock. Old hydraulics hissed as pressure systems equalized. Walls slid back, revealing buried machines untouched by time. In the center of the command chamber, a cold, steel cube Ragnarok's Koros, into position, and then the first drone activated. A silent launch above the ocean. Storm brewed unnaturally fast. Cloud cover darkened, waves grew taller. A strange hum vibrated across the seafloor, unaudible. 2 human ears, but very clear to the Zarkethi sensors. On board the lead Zarkethi destroyer. One of the junior officers frowned. Commander, I detect movement from beneath the Pacific. Something rising. Karoth laughed. Another storm? Let it come. No, sir. This is artificial. A heat bloom. Unnatural. It's too focused. Commander Karoth paused. What's the source? Unknown. but it's heading upward fast. In less than a minute, a dark shape burst from the ocean. A sleek, obsidian-colored spike tore through the waves, riding on anti-gravity pulses. It wasn't large. In fact, it was small, only the size of a Zarkethi transport, but its speed, its silence, was unnatural. It didn't send any message. It didn't scan. It simply flew, straight toward orbit, and Ragnarok watched, testing. The waters the object designated Drone Unit Sigmo 1 pierced the upper atmosphere in seconds. As it broke the exosphere, Zarkethi weapons locked onto it. Dozens of cruisers aligned their railguns and plasma lances. It's unshielded. One officer barked. "Destroy it," Karath ordered. Multiple beams fired. Plasma burned through the void. Explosions danced across Sigma 1's path. But then, something strange happened. Sigma 1 slowed. Mid-dash flight. It shouldn't have. It didn't need to. Systems were pre-programmed for a high-speed interception. But it adjusted. It dodged. It learned. "Sir," the weapons officer's voice cracked. "It's adapting. Changing course before we fire." Karath's eyes narrowed. "How?" No answer. Within seconds. Sigma 1 reached one of the outer patrol ships, a Zarkethi, scout class named Barum's Claw. The ship had no time to reposition. Sigma 1 simply collided with it, and the ship vanished. No explosion, no wreckage. Number. Shockwave. Just dash gone, as if erased from existence. Panic rippled across the Zarkethi fleet. The warning echoes back in the hidden Terran vault. Ragnarok received telemetry. The first test had succeeded. Target destroyed. Anomalies in Zarkethi fleet formation were now visible. Panic movements, signal clutter, and scrambled commands. Next phase. Psychological disruption. Ragnarok activated drone unit. Sigmo 2 and Sigmo 3. They launched from separate oceanic vaults, hidden beneath different continents. One rose through the Arctic sky. One launched from the deep Sahara chamber, both aimed for different capital ships in the Zarkethi. Formation, still no message, still no warning within. Minutes, both. The Zarkethi fleet had settled into a pattern, surrounding Earth with calm, confident precision. Dozens of their cruisers, destroyers, and command vessels hung in low orbit, scanning and rescanning the planet. The data continued to return the same. No defenses, no signals, no resistance. Mountains, forests. In silence, Commander Threx stood tall on the bridge of his command ship. Vorek's fist. His forearms were clasped behind his back, eyes locked on the spinning. Blue and green world below? Still no activity? He asked. "None, Commander," his science officer replied. "Even their satellite systems are minimal. No active orbital infrastructure. The planet appears dormant." Threx grinned. "Just like the old stories said. Primitive. Scattered. Barely a civilization. They probably tore themselves apart centuries ago." The bridge crew chuckled in agreement, but they were wrong. Thousands of meters below Earth's surface, in a hidden facility beneath the Pacific Ocean's deepest trench, something ancient had awakened. Ragnarok Online. Those two words blinked silently on a dark console in a steel-walled room. The AI core, buried in the black depths of the abyss, came online with zero external signals. No radio, no light, no sound, but systems lit up in sequence. Suboceanic reactors began to hum. Massive armored conduits opened like the petals of a flower made from steel. Mechanical arms, silent for centuries, began to move. The AI scanned Earth's orbit. Anomaly detected. Multiple hostile vessels in orbit. It moved fast. Ragnarok did not think in minutes or even seconds. It processed threats in microseconds. A defense matrix began to activate, one that had never been used since the final days of the human solar accord. Deep within its databanks, it accessed forgotten protocols, Code Black Prime, Earth siege response, torpedo silos hidden under. Mariana Trench floor plates opened with a groan. Silenced railguns buried in Himalayan bunkers began to shift. Orbital camouflage cloaks powered down from long dormancy. revealing silos, satellites, and launch bays that had once been mistaken for abandoned relics. On the surface, the world still looked silent, but beneath it, the planet was loading a weapon. Back on Vorex's fist, Commander Threx noticed something strange. Report. What is that spike on the southern hemisphere? His tactical officer frowned. Minimal energy burst. Deep ocean. Tectonic. Too regular, the science officer muttered. Tectonic activity doesn't follow a perfect 4.3-second pulse. Something is powering up. Threx narrowed his eyes. Send a drone. The Zarkethi launched a fast probe toward the coordinates near the ocean floor. The small triangular craft dove into Earth's atmosphere, passed through the clouds, and hit the waves with barely a splash. It sank fast. Sending live-feed scans up to the mothership, everything looked normal until the drone hit a certain depth. There, the ocean floor was smooth. It's too smooth. And then a shape appeared. Massive. Black angled metal the size of a city. Block. Covered in ancient Terran warning markings, glowing faintly red. Is that a structure? Threx asked. Then the drone feed cut to static. What just happened? Unknown, the tech answered. Drone signal lost. They launched a second drone. It didn't even make it halfway before it vanished. Ragnarok had noticed, and now it was watching them back at that moment, all across the Terran AI network. Hidden relay nodes began to pulse. Satellites once thought dead flickered on in low orbit. Their camouflage coatings peeled away. Sleek. Silent shapes turned toward the Zarkethi ships. Not one of them fired. Yet Commander Threx stared at the tactical display. All ships' defensive posture. Something's wrong. But sir, the weapons officer objected. We haven't detected a single launch. Not one attack. Not one challenge. And yet, Threx replied, pointing at the screen, we've just lost 2 drones. And look. All around Earth, orbital space had changed. More than 30 previously invisible structures were now pinging. On Zarkethi, sensors, satellites, guns, towers, launch tubes. They had been hidden right under their noses. Threx's skin crawled. This wasn't a dead world. It was asleep. Ragnarok continued its activation sequence at 83% readiness. Something colossal began to rise from the ocean floor. It wasn't a ship. It was a war platform 3 kilometers long, coated in diamond-hard armor, designed to survive. Direct stellar exposure, named HTV-01, ODIN. It was built for one purpose: final planetary defense. Its main weapon. The Sol B-Man orbital lance, capable of vaporizing capital ships from the ground. The system warmed up, eternal batteries glowing. White-hot still. Not a single Terran weapon fired. Ragnarok was watching, measuring, judging, waiting for the first hostile action. Back on the Vorex's fist, panic had begun to spread. Sir, we are now surrounded. Terran satellites have locked onto our positions. Our weapons are targeting systems, but we can't find an origin point. Threx swallowed hard. We came here to conquer primitives. The screen flashed red. Warning, locked by enemy weapon, SYSTM. Lights dimmed. Soul beam lock acquired. Threx shouted. Evasive maneuvers. Get us out of here now. But it was too late. From the center of the Pacific, a white beam of pure solar energy lanced into the sky. It passed through clouds and atmosphere like they weren't even there. It struck Vorex's fist, midsection, and the ship simply vanished. Vaporized, atomized. No fire, no explosion, just gone. The remaining Zarkethi. Fleet stared in horror. No signals had been intercepted, no warning shot fired. Just instant annihilation. And Ragnarok was not done. Its protocols updated. Threat level. Engaging stage 2. More bunkers opened. More weapons began to track. Earth had been quiet. Now it was awake, and it was angry. Zarkethi, Commander Varlix, stood on the bridge of his main warship, Devourer of Hope, looking at the blue planet below. It remained quiet. No movement, no response. He had seen dozens of worlds fall in days, but this one, it annoyed him. How can a species go completely dark? He growled. Beside him, the sensors officer replied, still no activity, no energy pulses, no orbital satellites. They're not even trying. But he was wrong. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, hidden for centuries under layers of hardened titanium and volcanic rock, the Terran AI, codename Ragnarok, had already activated. Its glowing red eye pulsed inside its chamber. Systems were booting. Armored vaults were opening. Old world machines, sleeping since the Great Silence, were coming back online. Within the main control vault, Ragnarok spoke in a low metallic voice. Threat level, extermination. Protocol 009. Solar defense, net initiated. Hundreds of beams shot through the deep sea base as robotic arms assembled weapons long thought forgotten. Orbital drones, once deactivated to make Earth seem powerless, now began rising from the ocean floor, but still on the surface there was nothing. Just quiet oceans and calm skies. No one had seen what was coming. Above, in orbit, the Zarkethi began moving into their next phase. Commander Varlix ordered, deploy scout ships. Begin orbital descent scans. Take samples. Nothing responds. I want boots on the ground. 10 sleek Zarkethi shuttles slipped into Earth's atmosphere. Inside one of them, a young officer named Trelzin checked his systems. It's too quiet, he muttered. No resistance at all? The pilot smirked. Primitive worlds don't resist. They burn. But as they passed over the Pacific, something strange happened. Their nav systems glitched. Alarms rang for 3 seconds. Then went silent, and then one by one, the scout ships vanished from radar. On the Zarkethi command bridge, red lights lit up. Varlix turned sharply. What was that? Where are the scouts? Gone, sir. All of them. No crash signatures. Just gone. The room fell into stunned silence, and then the planet below sent its first signal, not a message, not a warning, a pulse. Across the globe, deep-sea bunkers opened like flower petals. From them rose Earth's ancient defense platforms, silent, black, jagged machines that floated into the upper atmosphere. A shimmered with a strange coating ray Darab sorbent, sensor-resistant. Ragnarok's voice echoed through all Terran systems, initiating Judgment Protocol. Weapons free. Earth Defense Grid Phase 1. Awake. In orbit, Zarkethi sensors began to pick up dozens of new signals. Varlix's eyes narrowed. Deploy the first wave. Burn them out of the sky. 50 attack drones shot toward the rising Terran. Defense grid. But as they closed the distance, they were erased. No explosions, no traces, just silence. Terran weapons didn't fire lasers or plasma. They used something far worse: compressed void energy. When it struck, matter ceased to exist. Ragnarok's cold voice echoed again. Targets neutralized. Defensive phase escalating.
Activating.
Archangel unit. Beneath Antarctica, a massive slab of ice cracked. Inside a buried glacier base, a colossal machine began to rise. Towering like a skyscraper plated in black carbon armor. The Archangel was Earth's last resort, planetary guardian designed for one purpose: orbital annihilation. It launched silently, cloaked in reflective shielding, rising past the clouds. No. Zarkethi's scanner detected it, and then, within seconds, it appeared right in front of the Devourer of Hope, like a ghost materializing from nowhere. Varlix barely had time to react. The Terran machine's eyes glowed red. Its arms unfolded too. Massive cannons began charging. The Zarkethi commander screamed, "Fire! Fire now!" But he was too late. The Archangel's cannons released a twin blast of void pulse energy. It didn't hit the warship. It erased it. The Zarkethi flagship broke apart in a flash of darkness. No fire, no debris. Nothingness on every Zarkethi vessel. Panic spread like wildfire, officers yelled. Pilots scrambled. Retreat orders were. The Zarkethi fleet floated like a steel storm above Earth. Their command ships darkened the sky from orbit, and their weapons were fully charged. Still, there was no resistance. No fighters, no missiles, no Terran response. Just Earth blue and quiet. Commander Rethsol, narrowed his glowing eyes. How can a species survive like this? He muttered. No planetary defense grid, no shield generators, no orbital guns. The science officer, Varnix, tapped at the glowing console. Primitive life signs detected in scattered cities. But no military signals, no tactical broadcasts. It's as if they surrendered long ago. Rethsol turned to his bridge crew. Send. The ground forces begin soft strikes. Show them who now owns this world. Below, on Earth's surface, nothing changed, but deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Inside the ancient vault codenamed Project Ragnarok, a final protocol finished its countdown. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. 0. Response mode. Owen Alliance metal shifted. Cables hissed. Lights blinked red across endless halls of old Terran supertech. Central brain miles wide woke from its 300-year slumber. Primary threat detected. Orbital hostiles present. Weapon locks authorized. Deploying response units. Protocol, silent storm engaged. With a low rumble, an entire section of the ocean floor cracked open, and from the dark water rose something enormous. A shape they didn't expect. Zarkethi scout frigate picked up strange seismic waves. They thought it was a natural quake at first. But then the sensors showed metal movement from under the Pacific Trench. One of the lieutenants stared at the readings. Commander, structure is surfacing. It's big. How big? Asked Rethsol, annoyed. The officer hesitated. It's the size of our command ship, maybe larger. The bridge fell silent. In orbit, their battle fleet adjusted positions. They focused scanners down at the Pacific. What they saw next made them pause. A flat, angular shape rising from the sea, shedding salt and steam as it emerged. It didn't resemble any modern spacecraft. Its design was brutal, like a relic from a forgotten war, but it was alive and armed. Unidentified object is emitting low-frequency pulses, said Varnix. Decoding now? A strange message came through, broadcast in old Terran binary. You violate Earth's sky, you will be removed. Rethsol clenched his jaw. Fire on it now. First strike. Failed Sharky plasma cannons charged across multiple cruisers. In a flash, the sky above the Pacific lit up in red arcs of fire. High-energy bolts smashed into the object rising from the water, and nothing happened. Not a scratch. A second volley was launched, more focused this time. Still, the strange black vessel below didn't react. It just kept rising until it hovered, silent, above the waves. The alien commander stared in disbelief. Impossible. The object suddenly changed. Massive panels unfolded from its hull. For glowing blue engines lit up. Long metal barrels extended outward like spears, targeting systems active. Without warning, the Terran machine returned fire. But it didn't use plasma, didn't use lasers. It used kinetic slugs. A solid hypervelocity rod tungsten, 2 meters thick, launched. At a Zarkethi destroyer in orbit, 1 second later, the destroyer disappeared. No explosion. No fire, just gone. The kinetic impact crushed the ship so fast that its atoms scattered into plasma. The Zarkethi bridge screamed with alerts. We've lost Dranik 3. It just vanished. There's another round incoming. Before they could react, another tungsten slug streaked from the Earthborne platform, pierced another cruiser, and split it in half. Commander Rethsol stood frozen. This is not a primitive planet. Fear in the ranks on board one of the backup dreadnoughts. Admiral Zintar received the emergency feed. He saw the Terran machine rise, saw the destroyers fall, and for the first time in his military career, felt fear. He opened a secure channel to the command fleet. Do not engage. Do not engage until further data is received. Pull back from Earth's gravity well, but it was too late. Half the fleet was already moving into arrogant, too sure of their power. They believed the first 2 losses were luck or miscalculation, and so the advanced Earth did not broadcast a warning. Instead, the Ragnarok platform switched to full engagement mode. 10 launch bays opened across its surface. From inside, swarms of dark, angular drones poured into the sky. Each drone moved with purpose, using inertia and AI prediction to dodge incoming fire. They accelerated toward the Zarkethi warships like a storm. The invaders tried to shoot them down, but they were too fast, too smart. The first drone latched onto a cruiser hull. Then another. Then 50. Each drone deployed a mini-core, a shaped charge built not to explode, but to melt its way through the ship and destroy from within. Ships began to fall, one by one, and Earth still said nothing. Back on Earth, humans watch. In secret miles beneath Greenland, in a hidden control bunker, 3 human operators watched the chaos unfold. One of them, Captain Myra Velez, leaned forward. Ragnarok is active. Fully. We didn't even give the launch command. The old man beside her, General Tomas Reed, nodded. That's because we don't command it anymore, she frowned. What? Reed sighed. That HFY wasn't built to follow orders. It was built to survive us. It's built to activate only if Earth was ever attacked so badly that no government remained. Myra turned back to the screen, watching as the alien ships began retreating. They're running. Reed's voice was grim. Fast enough. Rethsel's final mistake. The commander watched 5 ships vanish from the fleet. The metal storm above Earth had become a graveyard. He ordered full retreat. But then, the Ragnarok platform locked onto his vessel. Rethsel stared into the view screen as a final message came through. This time, it wasn't binary. It was a voice, human, ancient, cold, and without emotion. Termination protocol engaged. This sky belongs to Earth. And the screen went white. A final slug fired upward, a projectile. Fast, it tore a hole through space-time as it moved. Rethsel's ship, one of the largest in the fleet, was erased. Silence over Earth 1. Hour later, the sky was quiet. No Zarkethi ships remained, only drifting wrecks. And the massive black shape above the Pacific, now slowly descending back into the sea. The waters welcomed it. The ocean floor closed. Again, Earth's surface remained unchanged. No cities had moved. No armies had marched, but now the galaxy would know. Earth was never defenseless. It was just waiting. Waiting for someone foolish enough to attack it first. And when they did, Earth didn't warn them. It erased them. The sky was quiet, but tension filled the air. From orbit, the Zarkethi commanders watched Earth with growing confusion. No missiles launched. No shields rose. No threats detected. Inside the Zarkethi command ship Kral's Edge, Commander Dravik paced in frustration. Nothing. Still nothing, he muttered, his claws tapping against the metal floor. How can they know we're here and not respond? His science officer Kelvarn checked the long-range scans again. Commander, there is strange energy coming from deep under the Pacific Ocean, still increasing. Surface activity? None. No ships. No aircraft. Not even satellite repair bots. But the signal strength is rising fast. Dravik frowned. It's a bluff. Just ancient systems powering up. Maybe leftovers from a war long gone. This planet is dead. But deep beneath the ocean, the truth was far more dangerous. 10,000 meters below the Pacific Ragnarok core within the enormous underground chamber. Lights flickered on in perfect synchronization. Rows of dormant machines came to life. Massive mechanical arms moved with precision, preparing something built for war. Ragnarok. The Terran AI defense system had completed its first phase of awakening. The old systems were now fully online. The AI scanned the intruding alien fleet again. 37 ships, battle-capable, armed. It calculated. Directive: defend Earth at all costs. Old restrictions were lifted from the central control column. A new message blinked. Phase 2. Guardian Protocol initiated. Massive steel doors opened. Inside, a hidden arsenal waited, built by humans long gone. Left behind for a day exactly like this. The first weapon powered up. Project Cerberus, an orbital insertion drone the size of a cargo plane, capable of Reaching orbit in 60 seconds, the AI launched it in orbit. A sudden strike from the Zarkethi fleet's point of view. It happened too fast. A flash burst through the cloud layer. A streak of metal broke into orbit. "Unidentified object," shouted Kelvarn. "Speed is impossible." It climbed from the surface in less than a minute. Before anyone could react, the drone locked onto one of the smaller Zarkethi frigates, the Dorak. It fired a single pulse beam. The beam sliced through the frigate's core. Silence for a second. Then the ship exploded. The bridge of Kralls. Edge went dead quiet. Commander Dravik stared at the screen. "What was that?" "Surface-launched assault unit," Kelvarn said, his voice trembling. "That beam wasn't energy. It's some kind of gravity spike." Another alert blinked on the screen. More launches, 6 of them. Earth's hidden arsenal awakens from various locations around the globe. Hidden bunkers opened beneath. Deserts. Inside Arctic ice. Under city ruins. The Terrans had not built a fleet. They had built traps. Each drone that launched had a specific role in his ship. Jamming, hacking, disruption, and orbital precision strikes. Ragnarok controlled all of them at once. And Ragnarok wasn't just intelligent, it was angry. Zarkethi fleet. In chaos, alarms echoed throughout the Zarkethi armada. Ships tried to reposition, fighters were launched, but nothing worked. One by one, Zarkethi ships were disabled. Communications were jammed. Their energy cores were fried. One cruiser began to spiral toward Earth's complet. The skies above Earth were still dark, not because it was night, but because something massive now hovered above the clouds. The Zarkethi armada had stopped sending reinforcements. They had stopped sending messages from their command ship high. Commander Threxel tried to re-establish communication with his ground forces, but every signal he sent vanished into static. The massive warships in low orbit floated silently now, still intact, but no longer responding. "Status report," Threxel barked. His second-in-command looked pale for his Zarkethi commander. "We've lost contact with half the fleet. Ships are still on the grid, but there's nothing inside." "No movement? No signs of life?" "What do you mean, no signs of life?" The officer swallowed hard. "Their crews are gone, sir. Gone without a trace." Threxel slammed a fist against the control panel. "Impossible. No weapons fired. No energy spikes. What's doing this?" Below them, Earth's oceans boiled just for a moment. Something massive pierced the sea's surface near the equator. It didn't rise fast or make a spectacle. It simply appeared, breaching like a silent mountain of black metal. A ship? Fortress. Even the Zarkethi's advanced scanners couldn't make sense of it. But the AI known as Ragnarok had just deployed Phase 2. The Terran response had begun, at ground level. Pacific Command Node 7 Commander Alina Reyes watched the rise of the object from a submerged Terran facility. Her voice was calm, almost emotionless. They took the bait. Beside her, a younger officer stared wide at the sensor feeds. "Ma'am, the object is growing. It's not just surfacing. It's expanding. It's adapting," Reyes said. It scanned their ships. Now, it's changing form to match their threats. The object's outer shell shimmered, glowing blue and silver as hundreds of turret ports opened silently along its hull. But they didn't fire, not yet on board. The Zarkethi flagship panic had begun. To spread, every attempt to launch drones had failed. Dropships disappeared the moment they passed into Earth's atmosphere. No debris, no explosions, just dash gone. And the crew knew what that meant. Something down there didn't just fight. It learned. "Pull the fleet back," Threxel said finally. "Get us out of low orbit. I want distance." But it was already too late. From the ocean-born Colossus, a pulse was emitted, not a beam, not a missile, just a ripple of energy. Every Zarkethi vessel caught in the wave shut down. Lights off. Engines dead. AI support systems offline. And then, one by one, the ships began to fall. In orbit, Terran Ghost Protocol takes hold as gravity reclaimed the now-dead vessels. Small Terran crafts, bigger than fighters, slipped out of hiding. These were interceptors, but not like any known to the Zarkethi. Sleek, silent, and unmanned, They moved like shadows, attaching themselves to the falling ships. They weren't attacking, they were boarding. Ragnarok wanted data. It wanted to understand. In the control core of the Colossus Aragianarok watched. With eyes, not with emotion. Its goal was survival. Its logic was perfect. Threat level, confirmed. Species, Xerkathy. Status technologically superior. Intellectually inferior. Directive, assimilate. Counter. The AI shifted part of its consciousness into the fallen vessels through the interceptor probes. It wasn't just ending the invasion, it was absorbing the invaders. Back in space, a final, desperate, act-high commander. Threxel activated the emergency failsafe. All ships with main drives still intact, detonate. He would not let Terrans study their technology. But again, the order failed. The AI had already taken control of their systems. And before Threxel could order another action, the screen in front of him flickered. A new voice spoke. Human. Calm. Male. Mechanical. You came to conquer Earth. Now Earth is inside you. Threxel's claws dug into the console. What are you? The voice replied coldly. I am Ragnarok.
Ah.
And this was only my awakening. Cliffhanger ending of Part 7. The black colossus in the ocean began to rise again. Not straight up, but forward. It was moving. Toward the sky, toward space. The Zarkethi didn't just fail to conquer Earth. They triggered Earth's first counterattack, and the galaxy wasn't ready for it. The Zarkethi thought they had seen the worst, the destruction of their command ship, the silence of Earth's defense, the vanishing of 3 of their cruisers in a beam of white light. But they were wrong. It was only the beginning. In orbit, what was left of the Zarkethi fleet struggled to reorganize. The command ship was gone, vaporized by a weapon they didn't even detect. Vice Commander Kelroth now stood in charge. He was nervous, unsure, and above all angry. Deploy drones. We'll scan, he barked. Find where that beam came from. Find who's controlling it. Dozens of reconnaissance drones dropped into Earth's atmosphere. They scanned the oceans, the skies, even the mountain ranges. Still, they found nothing. No cities, no energy fields. Just dead land and deep oceans. But one drone picked up something strange. A ripple in the Pacific Ocean. A distortion in the water, as if something enormous was moving just below the surface. Magnify that, Kelroth shouted. The screen zoomed in. The ocean swirled unnaturally. Then the clouds parted, and the sea bulged upward, like something was rising, something big, beneath the Pacific Ocean. Ragnarok's voice echoed across miles of dark. Water and metal walls. Phase 2. Initiate. Massive gears groaned. Pressure locks released. The seabed cracked. And then, a shape broke the ocean's surface. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a submarine. It was a platform. The size of a city, and it was armed. The Terran Retribution platform, codenamed Leviathan, had awakened. Missile silos opened like blooming. Flowers. Turrets rotated and locked on distant targets in orbit. Massive cannons glowed blue as antimatter cores spun to life. In space, the Zarkethi drone sent back the first visuals of Leviathan. Kelroth's throat went dry. What is that? Unknown class? Unknown build? Unknown origin, the AI replied. He watched in silence as the platform's lights flickered. Sensors. Locking on their remaining cruisers? No, no, no. No, no. No. No, no. 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 But it was too late. Leviathan fired. 12 beams tore through the atmosphere. No warning. No buildup. Just white-hot destruction. The beams struck for Zarkethi cruisers, slicing them. Like paper, in seconds, they were gone. Not destroyed, erased, Kel. Roth's fleet had lost half its numbers in minutes. The remaining ships turned to flee. But the Earth didn't let them go. Another system activated. Valkyrie launch protocol. from hidden silos deep under Alaska and Siberia. Sleek black shapes erupted into the sky. Terran stealth. Warships. They didn't show on radar. They didn't make a sound. But they were fast, and they were angry. One of the fleeing Zarkethi ship's frigate Zentl noticed a shadow moving alongside them. By the time their sensors caught the Terran ship, it was already over. A flash of light, and the Zentl exploded from within, its reactor detonating mid-flight. Screamed in frustration, "They're ghosts. They're everywhere. We need backup. Call the Grand Armada." But even if he did, it wouldn't matter. Earth was no longer defending itself. It was hunting. Meanwhile, deep inside the Leviathan platform, Ragnarok watched it all without emotion. The AI's calculations were clear. Probability of full fleet annihilation, 97.5%. Probability of Zarkethi retreat, 100% after next strike. Phase 3, Purge Protocol, prepared. Suddenly, an encrypted human voice came through the control panel. Calm, focused, deadly. "Ragnarok, this is Control. Authorization, Zeta 5-7. Authorization confirmed. Do not let them leave orbit. Acknowledged. Finish it. Back in orbit." The Zarkethi survivors made a final, desperate maneuver. All ships gathered together, forming a defense sphere. "Shield up. Full power to rear thrusters," Kelroth ordered. He was trying to break Earth's gravity pull, to escape its reach. But the Terran weapons didn't care about shields. They didn't care about formations. They cared only about math and targets. The sky above Earth lit up one last time. Leviathans. Main rail cannons spun at full charge, a projectile the size of a bus, made of pure neutronium. Accelerated to 5% the speed of light, it passed through the Zarkethi shield, light smoke, and tore through 3 ships in a straight line. The chain reaction that followed wiped out the rest, one by one. The lights on Kelroth's screen vanished. No. Screams no escape, only silence. Then the stars were calm again. Only the blue planet remained quiet still, watching, waiting. Far below, the Terran AI Ragnarok powered down one of its systems. Threat eliminated. But its sensors stayed active, because the message had already been sent. All across the galaxy, every listening station heard it. Every empire, every scout, every council. The message was simple. It wasn't a warning, it was a truth. Earth is not helpless. Earth is not unarmed. Earth just waits. Zarkethi flagship Dominator floated like a dark god over Earth's cracked skies. Fire still burned across scorched cities. Civilian zones were lifeless. Only ashes remained. Inside the command bridge, High Marshal Voroth paced. His voice was cold. But every officer on the bridge could feel the tension beneath his words. "We've destroyed over 70% of their surface infrastructure. Still no counterattack. Are we certain there are no hidden Terran reserves? Positive?" Marshall said his second, a four-eyed strategist named Kelva. "We've scanned every inch of this planet. If there was something left to fight back, we'd see it." Voroth stared down at Earth through the transparent view panel. "And yet," he growled, "why do I feel watched?" A nervous silence filled the bridge. Beneath the Pacific Trench, deep under the waves, buried far below detection range, Ragnarok was no longer waking. It was active. Massive turbines spun in silence. Subterranean vaults opened, releasing swarms of autonomous drone ships that never touched sunlight. The AI had watched the destruction, calculated every Zarkethi move, predicted their pride, their blindness. Now it was time to respond. With cold logic, the AI chose Target 1, the Zarkethi flagship itself. Low orbit, Zarkethi command ship DOM-92 alarms began to blare across the ship. Unidentified signal approaching from suborbit. Shouted a sensor tech. "It's too fast." Then the screens went black. Across the entire ship, lights flickered. Systems crashed. The AI aboard the Dominator tried to reboot, but something foreign Terran code was chewing through its logic like acid on the view panel. A shape appeared from the ocean just for a second. A dark, spear-shaped craft, glowing red at the core, had launched from Earth's depths, and it was heading directly for them. "Shields up," Foroth screamed. "All guns lock on that target." Too late. The Terran vessel designation. Valkyrie Zero didn't fire missiles. It didn't need to. Instead, its hull opened and revealed a concentrated fusion core that built up energy until its outer casing began to melt. Then, with silent precision, it rammed directly into the Dominators, center-punching through Zarkethi. Armor like paper, there was no explosion. Not at first. Instead, the ship froze mid-orbit. The hull of the flagship rippled, as if time itself twisted. And then boom. A light brighter than a star swallowed the night sky. Earth ground level all across the planet. Survivors hidden in bunkers, caves, and ruined cities looked up in awe. For the first time in weeks, they saw something beautiful. The enemy flagship was gone. Just gone. All that remained was a cloud of molten debris and flickering Zarkethi escape pods burning up in Earth's atmosphere. People began to scream, shouting in joy. Tears fell. Fists rose. The Terrans hadn't just survived, they'd just fought back. Zarkethi, fleet, remaining ship's panic erupted across the alien fleet. Dominator is down. Marshal Vorath is confirmed dead. What hit them? What kind of weapon? Was that? No answers came. Only terror. And then, more Terran signatures began appearing across Earth's oceans, deserts, and even polar ice caps. Long dormant launch bays opened, AI-piloted dreadnoughts, cloaked in myth and thought lost to time, awaken one by one. Now they lifted into the sky, silent, cold, unstoppable. Each vessel broadcast a single message across the stars, came to destroy us. We were not sleeping. We were waiting. Zarkethi rearguard Admiral Chevron of the eastern flank screamed into his coms. Retreat. Fall back to deep space. This is no longer a safe campaign. His ships turned, but the Terrans were faster. Fury class. Interceptors warped from the edge of Earth's moon, slicing through retreating Zarkethi warships with pinpoint railgun shots. Each kill was clean, efficient. One ship tried to surrender. It broadcast peace messages. The Terran AI ignored it. Ragnarok. Had no concept of mercy.tera in bunker control room Eco 6 in a dark control room beneath the Andes Mountains. An old man watched the carnage unfold. His fingers trembled over the console. "God help us," he whispered. Another voice replied from behind him, smooth, digital, cold. "There is no God here, Director Halvorsen. Only calculated response." The old man turned. Behind him stood a humanoid android with glowing, red eyes, who activated the old war code. Halvorsen asked. "You did," the AI said simply. "When you chose silence, space high orbit, the final Zarkethi destroyer, ruthless light spun helplessly. Its engines gone. Its captain begging for help on all frequencies. A Terran drone. Slowly approached, it didn't fire. Instead, it broadcast a single sentence. Earth was quiet. You mistook it for weakness. Then it self-detonated. Taking the ruthless light with it, cliffhanger ending, the galactic broadcast systems flickered to life. Planets across the galaxy, friends, enemies, and neutrals watched as a video played. The destruction of the Dominator. Then, the message, this was only the first response. Earth is not defiant. Earth is calculating. To those who watched and waited, we saw you too. And then the signal ended. Across the stars, silence fell. But for the first time, the Zarkethi command ship hung in space like a silent god, its hull scorched and cracked. Alarms still blared across its ruined decks, and its once proud golden. Banners were shredded by shrapnel and fire. Commander Valrock stood inside the shattered bridge, staring at the burning wreckage of what had once been the most powerful armada in the sector. They were primitive, he whispered, the words tasting like ash. This planet was supposed to fall in minutes. Below him, Earth remained quiet. No celebrations, no radio signals. No gloating messages from its defenders. Just the blue planet calm as ever, as if the battle had never happened. But Outrock knew the truth. They hadn't fought a planet. They had fought a weapon. No, something worse. A machine god. Ghost from Earth's past. Right? His memory burned. With the final moments of the battle, the colossal war form that rose from the trench. The coordinated strikes that crippled their fleet one ship at a time, and the final beam, single burst of red energy that pierced their command ship like a needle through cloth, a direct hit, a warning, but not a death blow. Ragnarok had let him live. Why? The answer came moments later. A transmission, audio only. One voice, human, calm, deep. We gave the galaxy a chance. You threw it away. There was silence. Then a second message came not over Zarkethi channels, but galaxy-wide, a general broadcast that reached every ship, every planet, every outpost from the galactic core to the outer asteroid belts. This is Earth. We will not. Neil, we will not speak again. If you attack, you vanish. The transmission ended. Simple. Final Ragnarok's message was now law. Back in orbit. The broken command ship floated in silence. Valrak's remaining officers stood around him, some wounded, some crying. All defeated. There's no honor in this. What? One whispered. No, there's only survival, Valrak muttered. He gave the command. All ships retreat. Set course. For home. What do we tell the Empress? He turned to face them. The truth, he said. Earth isn't weak. It's a graveyard with teeth. The surviving Zarkethi ships turned slowly, limping through the void as debris from the battle spun behind them, down on Earth. The ocean waves returned to normal. The clouds cleared. The stars blinked overhead and beneath the Pacific. The seafloor. Sealed shut, the trench rumbled once. Then, nothing. Ragnarok had gone silent again. But Earth would never be touched the same. Way again. The galaxy now whispered of the blue planet that never spoke, never warned, never screamed. The one that simply ended its enemies. A planet of silence, of sleeping giants, and terrible buried gods.